Hello and welcome back to Bescheuertes Kurzes Bein. My name's Leah. Welcome to a rather lighthearted kind of video. Nothing of importance has happened since Stumps in Perth, but the incomparable Beth Cooper has promoted the Cricket Starterpacks that she curates over on bluesky for the start of the Ashes, and I'm in those. So that meant that I got an influx of new people, and they probably don't know what I'm doing, why I'm even in there. So not to worry, I will explain, or I will try to explain. Anyway, first of all, welcome everybody. My name's Leah, as I said, I'm German, and I'm really into cricket. And there was when I started, there was absolutely no coverage of cricket in German. And I had basically two options: bitch about it, or sit myself down and make it myself. So after some of option one, I decided, it's time for option two. Okay, so I started this channel as to give coverage of important cricket matches in German. There is also some English language content, because I also do interviews with people around or in similar circles as myself, cricket-wise speaking. So, and funnily enough, not a lot of people around cricket speak German. Richard Asher is one notable exception I know of, as is Thilo. So I'm doing a lot of my interviews in English. So if you are just interested in the English language stuff after watching this video, there is a convenient playlist called English language content on this channel that you can look at. That's not just interviews, it's also some live commentaries, because when I can find the time and no one else, namely Guerrilla Cricket, is covering something, I might jump in for a bit and cover it in English. But I also do some German language cricket commentating, and that was one thing that got brought up by someone who discovered me recently through the Cricket Starterpacks. How do you do it in German? And I'll have to go a bit deeper there, I think. So, cricket commentary is a very specific thing. And the language of cricket is English, at least on air most of the time. And we in Germany have a bit of a problem there, because we don't have the vocabulary. I don't mean we cannot describe the concepts and stuff like that, but we don't have a tradition. Maybe that's a better word. We don't have a tradition of cricket commentary, and we don't have a tradition of cricket. Or we do have a tradition of cricket. It's been played in this country since the middle of the 19th century, but we don't really have words to describe cricket. And I was, some years back, I was sent a screenshot of a book about cricket written in German, but in the 1930s. And they had translated everything. And it sounded kind of weird. Because, look, we all know the shot that is called the drive. They had invented a German name for that shot, and it was Treibschlag, which sounds very stereotypically German. And given the fact that the book is from the 1930s, there are some very unsavory connections with National Socialism, because maybe you did not know that, but former England captain C.B. Fry was really, really into fascism in the 1930s, and he tried to convince Hitler that Germany should become a test-playing nation. That did not work out, but he got as far as having an audience with Joachim von Ribbentrop. Yes, that was the German foreign minister at the time. He of Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact fame, or infamy, shall we say. But he pitched the idea to Hitler, and Hitler nipped that one in the bud because, in his words, any sport that requires protective equipment is un-German, or, as he said, Jewish. So yeah, not really a good place to start. So next idea was, okay, just translate all the stuff in a funny way, which is how the name of the podcast came to be. Over there, bescheuertes kurzes Bein. It's just a technically correct translation of silly short leg into German. It makes even less sense in German than it does to members of the general public in English. But it's a technically correct translation of silly short leg. I arrived at this translation by taking every part of silly short leg, every word, translating it independent of one another. Not that it would have probably made any big difference. And so I derived at bescheuertes kurzes Bein. It's a kind of, do you remember that game? It would be very good in that game that we used to play back in the days of around 2000, 2003, where you take lyrics from a song, and you put them through the Google translation at the time, which was really, really bad. And you would post those lyrics, and you had to guess what's the original. You can ramp up the difficulty by saying, okay, we are staying in the original language, but I will take the original lyrics, put them through Google, translate them into German, and then take those German translated lyrics, those that Google translated, take them, put them back into Google Translate, and translate them back to English. And now, can you tell me what song we're talking about? And yeah, that's the level of translation that I did with this silly short leg. Would be, I've never done it, but now that I'm thinking about it, would probably be funny to put that one through an old version of Google Translate. I don't have one, so yeah. Because you see, there are a lot of possibilities to really have fun with mistranslating, or not really mistranslating. They are technically correct translations, or just do other shenanigans, like think about it, slips. In Germany, men's or underwear, undies, briefs specifically, are called slips. So the idea was, okay, what can we do? Can we then call the fielding position in cricket the slips? Should we call them Schlüpper oder Unterhosen? All German words for underwear, specifically underpants. Or should I go with what they're called in my local dialect here in the Rhineland? Ungerbutz. It would be quite funny, because you can go mit Schmackes in die Ungerbuchs. which would translate to something like with a violently into the slips, which, it has to be said, can either mean, in the cricket sense, he violently or a thick outside edge into the slips and he's out caught, or he shat himself, which is kind of fun in a juvenile way, but it doesn't really communicate very well what is going on the screen or on the field. And another problem is that it creates a barrier to entry that should not be there, because basically just to listen to live commentary of cricket, you now have to be in on all the in-jokes to translate what's going on. Did he nick off or did he shit himself? Who knows? So, so I shelved that idea as well. And then I took to the idea that I'd do it like most Indian commentators do it. So, you try to describe all the action on the field in German, but you still use all the English terms for that you don't that have no translations, basically. I think that's a very valid way to do something like that, because basically, if you watch German golf commentary, for example, they will say slice, they will say hook, because there is no word for it in German. They will also call it eagle and albatross and birdie, because even though it would be really easy to translate that. Eagle is Adler, albatross is Albatros, just a slight change in pronunciation, and birdie is Vögelchen. So yeah, but no one says that. If you play one under par, it's a birdie, it's not a Vögelchen. So, so I felt, yeah, okay, I can do that, and that's how I do my commentary, and that doesn't mean there are no stupid jokes in there, but I guess show don't tell. So I have taken the liberty to record over full coverage of a very, very famous over that is thankfully available in full on YouTube, and I will link it down below, the original video. I recorded German commentary for that over, and I will play you that, and I will walk you through what I'm talking about, explaining maybe the in-jokes that are specific to me and my circle, as well as the jokes that maybe a broader German audience might pick up on. So, without that much further ado, I will present to you a very famous over. Any guesses? Put it down in the description. Pause this video and write a comment if you think you can guess what over I'm talking about. All right? Okay, see you in a bit. All right, we're back, and I think you can guess what over I'm talking about, right? Here we go. Dank meiner zuverlässigen Zeitmaschine befinden wir uns im Jahr 2005 in Edgbaston, und ihr wisst, welches Over hier gemeint ist. Also, alright, this is just because I'm recording this in 2025. This is me joking about my trusty time machine, bringing me back to Edgbaston 20 years ago. Zweites Innings, das Target für Australien, 282 Runs. Bisher 47 ohne Verluste, aber all das soll sich ändern. Alright, just recapping the state of play, basically. Australia are 47 without loss. The target is 282. And again, from the future, I'm making an allusion to the fact that we know in hindsight that things are about to change now that Freddie Flintoff is coming on for the first over of the second innings. Zum ersten Mal im zweiten Innings Andrew Flintoff, right arm fast medium, Height, Größe fast 2 Meter. 15 Over, 1 Maiden, 52 Runs und 3 Wickets bisher in diesem Match, also im ersten Innings. Die letzten beiden Deliveries, die Flintoff im ersten Innings gebowlt hat, waren Wickets. Flintoff also on a Hattrick, während wir ihn hier sehen mit Captain Michael Vaughan, jetzt erste Aufwärmwürfe zu Steve Harmison müsste das sein. Da hat man mich fast getoniet, denn das sind Wiederholungen der Wickets aus. Okay, so I was going on about how I was giving his stats during the first innings. So you know how many overs he bowled, how many maidens, how many runs he conceded, how many wickets he took, stuff like that. Naming other players that were in the picture, Michael Vaughan, who was the captain at the time, obviously, and Harmy, who he was bowling to, who he's warming up to. Then there came on some replays. Those are replays of his wickets during the first innings. And I said, I almost got tonied. And this is in reference to friend of the channel, Tony Bishop from Guerrilla Cricket, who kind of has a tendency to get fooled by replays which are not clearly marked as such on screen. Celebrating wickets that the team took about 5 hours ago or something like that. This is not. It's a bit pulling his leg. It's not meant in a mean way. It's just in the Guerrilla Cricket commentary or in the Guerrilla Cricket community, getting tonied specifically means mistaking a replay for a live feed. So, yeah, sorry again, Tony. You know, it's a stupid joke. I'm sorry. On we go. Aus dem ersten Innings hier mit Random Rudy, der die letzten beiden australischen Batsmen outgibt, was das Ende des australischen Innings war. Jetzt. Alright, bit of background for the German listeners who not necessarily know who Random Rudy is or was. He was I don't know if the nickname Random Rudy caught on in the wider cricket world, but Jared Kimber continuously refers to him in his very, very excellent book, When Freddie Became Jesus, which you will encounter later on for a second time. And yeah, that kind of influenced me a lot. I really like Jared. And I will link to you a video about my journey in cricket, how I got into this, what has happened since, and why it's important to me. I gave an interview to good friend of the channel, Adit, for his Cricket Sickos podcast. And yeah, it's a long story. The interview is around an hour, so please forgive me for not doing it or telling that story again. It's when you listen to it, you will know why. Anyway, so Jared is very, very important, was very important, informative to me. And he continues to call Kurtzen Random Rudy during the When Freddy Became Jesus book about the 2009 Ashes. And I admit it, I stole that from him, and it's fine. I think. I hope. Anyway, on with the show. Also, Flintoff zum Linkshänder Justin Langer. Wir haben gesehen, da sind Slips in place für Flintoff. Und hier kommt Andrew Flintoff. Right arm around the wicket. Langer kriegt das irgendwie in die Offside abgewehrt. Just what I was saying earlier. I'm trying to describe most of the action in German. What happens? I think defense, Abwehr. Okay, that's one of the things. I don't use defended into the offside or stuff like that, sondern verteidigt in die Offside oder in die Legside. Whatever may be applicable. Defended into the offside or the onside. But I tend to use the English terms for as I said, onside, offside, stuff like that. Of course, sometimes it slips. I'm not perfect at code switching because I haven't done it my whole life. Basically, when you learn English in Germany, it's one of the things is because I'm a bit older, it was a real concern in German society at the time that there were too many loan words from English, kind of like what the French do. Yeah, with their mandated French words for everything. One example I can remember, which always struck me as very, very silly, is what's the French word for computer? The answer is twofold. First one is ordinateur personnel. The second one is le PC. Yeah. So there was very very much concern about that in Germany. They were calling it Denglisch. Deutsch, English, Denglisch. So school children in Germany at the time when I was in school were discouraged from using what our teachers called Denglisch. So I've never had that much practice at code switching, so sometimes it slips, but I think it's tolerable. Anyway, on with the show. Richtung Backward Point vielleicht Gully, so ungefähr diese Ecke, da endet der Ball, aber kein Run. 47 without loss, ohne Verluste Australien. Flintoff auf dem Weg zurück zu seinem Run-Up, zu seinem Mark. Wieder Wiederholungen. Und fast wäre ich wieder drauf reingefallen. Hier kommt Flintoff, right arm around the wicket. Und da ist das Mobiliar in Unordnung gebracht. Ich warte da noch auf die Wiederholungen, denn ich glaube, Justin Langer hat da keinen Schläger dran bekommen. Das müsste ihn am Ellbogen getroffen haben. Aber Flintoff zieht die Länge wieder ein bisschen zurück. Der erste Ball des zweiten Innings für Flintoff eher full. Jetzt also ein bisschen kürzer und länger, glaube ich, unterschätzt da tatsächlich den Bounce und dass Flintoff eben liest die Line nicht richtig. Ja, hier sehen wir es, die Wiederholung. Länger unterschätzt den Bounce und kriegt den Ball an den Ellbogen, von da direkt in den Off-Stump. Und Andrew Flintoff hat den Durchbruch 47 für 1. 28 von 47 Deliveries für länger. Alright, so this is the famous Justin Langer dismissal. All I'm doing there is talking about how Flintoff is pulling back the length from the first delivery. The first one was fuller. He's pulling back the length, and Langer misjudges the length, the bounce, and to some extent also the line. He gets the ball. The ball hits him on his left elbow, and from there it bounces. It flies into the stumps. Takes out his off stump, and I'm saying there, Flintoff bringt sein Mobiliar in Unordnung. So, Mobiliar is furniture. So Flintoff is playing havoc with his furniture, of course, because the furniture, which is a direct equivalent to the English cliches, basically. The furniture is the wicket, because that's made of wood as well, and it's mostly immobile and inanimate. And yeah, so I mean, backsteal and borrow wherever I can, to quote Dan Swanö from his criminally underrated and forgotten Moon Tower record. Check that one out. Yeah, so and after that it's basically just giving the stats of Langer from this innings: 28 runs, so and so deliveries. All right. Yeah, but I think, well, I think there is a place for jokes, for funny cliches and stuff like that in cricket commentary. If you are with people for, in my case, sometimes 8 hours, and they're listening to you for sometimes close to 8 hours or more, it's pretty refreshing to have a bit of levity sometimes. And for me, it's also very, very important because there are not that many German cricket commentators. I know, shocked. I am as shocked as you are, but that means if I say, okay, I'm covering an ODI, I'm covering a test match in German, it's me. I'm doing the whole show. So, yeah. So sometimes I just need to have a bit of fun with it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to. You can't concentrate that on or be that just descriptive for 8 hours straight. So on we go. Und er kann es nicht wirklich glauben, was ihm da gerade passiert ist, während wir hier Ricky Ponting sehen, der Captain der Australier an Nummer 3, jetzt auf dem Weg in die Mitte. Da wird noch mal ein bisschen Shadowbatting betrieben auf dem Weg zum Wicket. Da wird auch nochmal der Helm kurz gerichtet, am Polunder rumgezuppelt. Yeah, so Ricky Ponting is coming out to the middle, and there's a bit of shadowbatting. He resets the helmet, and he fiddles with his jumper. And I'm using very, very casual German language here. Am Polunder rumzuppeln. A Polunder is basically it's a sweatshirt, or it's a pullover, without arms. It's called Polunder in German for some reason. Please don't hate me for using terms that vaguely sound English, but are not a thing in Britain. Yeah, a jumper is called Polunder in German if it has no sleeves. So, Zuppeln is well, kind of. It's a very it's a way to say fiddle around with, something like that. That's probably a pretty good analogy, both in or translation, both in the meaning of the word and the intended tone of the word. So, yeah, let's go with that. Ricky Ponting is twiddling around with his jumper. Okay, on with the show. Der Schläger ein bisschen geschwungen, jetzt vorbei am englischen Team. Das waren Flintoff, Peterson, glaube ich, war da gerade eben kurz im Bild. Hier, jetzt also Ricky Ponting auf dem Wicket, und da wird sich ein bisschen als Landschaftsgärtner betätigt. Offensichtlich Ricky Ponting nicht ganz zufrieden mit dem Zustand des Pitches im Moment. Guard wird markiert. In dieser unvergleichlichen Ricky Ponting-Weise. Oh, und wir sind wieder unterwegs. Da hat er noch Unkraut gefunden, wie es scheint. Das muss noch weg. Ja, alles klar. Ponting, 90 Matches, 147 Innings, eine unglaubliche Average von 56,05 in 90 Matches. Das ist ziemlich gut. Highscore 257 für ihn. Yeah, so when Ponting goes out to the wicket, I'm talking about how he shadow bats and he twiddles around with stuff, as I said, and then I mentioned some of the players he passes on the way to the wicket, and once he gets to the wicket, Ponting starts what every cricket fan knows as gardening. So I'm making a joke there about Ricky Ponting doing some work as a landscaping artist, basically. And then he marks his guard, and then he's out again, out of his crease again, back to some gardening, and I'm making a bit of fun of how he found some weeds that have to be pulled out again. Unkraut in German is weed. Stuff like that. Then I give Ponting's stats, or the important ones. He's played a lot of games at this point already. He has a very good average for the number of games he has played. Yeah, and so I'm giving that. And now Flintoff is back on for his first delivery to Ricky Ponting. So, Flintoff, wir sehen hier 2 Slips. Gully, da ist Point. Und here we go. Flintoff, right arm over the wicket. Erste Delivery, riesen Appeal für LBW. Aber Flintoff begeht hier den taktischen Fehler, nicht Random Rudy als Non-Striker als Umpire zu haben, sondern Billy Todesklaue Bowden. Todeskralle. Entschuldigung, nicht Todesklaue, Todeskralle. Ja, machen wir es so. Ne? Liebe Grüße aus Büttenwader. Wir sehen Wiederholungen. Balltracking jetzt. Und kein Schläger von Ponting, aber die Wiederholung zeigt uns, der wäre drüber gegangen. Alright. So, we see the first delivery of that Ricky Ponting sees in this Edgbaston test. And there is an LBW appeal by Andrew Flintoff for that one. But, and then we go into the whole shebang. And what I'm saying is there, because the appeal is not given. We have seen earlier in the over replays of Flintoff getting the last 2 Australian wickets in the first innings, and as tends to happen with consecutive LBW dismissals, the non-strikers umpire is the one picking up the finger. In the first innings, for the last 2 wickets of Australia, that umpire was Rudi Kurtzen. And he gave him out. So far, so good. But this time, there is an appeal for LBW, and it is not given. What I say is that Flintoff here made the tactical error of not having Rudi Kurtzen as the non-strikers umpire. But Billy Bowden is a New Zealand. Billy Bowden, sorry. Yeah, sorry, especially Alex Bowden, who runs kingcricket.com and is also on the Ridiculous Ashes podcast, which you should absolutely listen to. But his name is Bowden, Alex Bowden. Billy Bowden is the umpire here from New Zealand, and Alex has a very, very, very funny bit about his last name being mispronounced as Bowden, because it's written the same name, but his last name is pronounced Bowden. And yeah, go ahead, listen to all of the episodes of The Ridiculous Ashes. I'm not going to tell you in which one it is, because I want you to listen to all of them. And also I can't remember. So, yeah. No, it's probably one of the 2009 ones. So, yeah. No, all joking aside. So, Billy Bowden, he was known as, or he was known for his, whatever you want to call it, the crooked finger of doom, the crooked paw of death, stuff like that. He claimed he did it because of his arthritis, which interesting. At this time, he was not that much older than I am today. I have arthritis. I can do this all day. But Billy Bowden apparently couldn't, and he claimed that it helped his circulation, so he always did that. That was Billy Bowden's out signal. So you can call him the death claw, and that's what I'm doing here. I make a mistake. I call him Todesklaue at first, and I correct myself a bit later, calling him Todeskralle, which I have to explain is, well, kind of a metafiction. What do I mean by that? Well, he is a fictional character inside another fiction. He's a comic book superhero, and the star of his eponymous publication, Die Todeskralle, that is read by a stable boy character. He's a bit of an idiot, Kuno, in the German sitcom Neues aus Büttenwader. which is about some North German hillbillies, basically. And that's the reason why you may have noticed I catch myself and say schöne Grüße aus Büttenwader. So greetings from Büttenwader, which is kind of the thing that's what I mean by jokes that a broader German audience might actually get, by way of this being on national television. The public broadcaster produced that series, so I guess it's lesser known in southern Germany, but it's pretty well known in northern Germany, or from basically the middle and north. So Todeskralle means Todesklaue. Todesklaue oder Todeskralle means death claw. I mean, both of them, Todesklaue and Todeskralle, both would probably be translated as death claw. Klaue und Kralle are basically in this context the same thing. The claw. So that's what is going on there. On we go. Nächste wird von Ponting rausgedrückt in Richtung Gully, und ich denke, das ist Ashley Giles da. Ich habe nicht ganz sehen können, ob er ihn da fallen gelassen hat oder ob der Ball zu kurz war. Anyway, es bleibt bei einem Dot Ball, kein Run. Ponting vergnügt sich wieder in den Rabatten. Yeah, so some more jokes about. First of all, I'm not certain that I think that was Ashley Giles. And I wasn't certain watching it if he had dropped him or if it had fallen just short of him. And I'm telling the listener that. Then I'm making some more fun of Ricky Ponting for gardening. Rabatten means it's basically if you're planting flowers but not in a pot, but like in a French garden kind of way, like Versailles, these not very English gardens, but these geometric patterns and stuff like that. The flowers in that, it's called Rabatten. It's just the word for it. Jetzt wird die Guard aufgenommen und Flintoff weiterhin 2 Slips, Gully, und Ponting kriegt da keinen Schläger und versucht eine Defense mit einem geraden Schläger. Wieder eine Appeal für LBW von Flintoff, aber das wird nicht gegeben. Und hier würde ich jetzt auch sagen, das wäre höchstwahrscheinlich Legside am Wicket vorbeigegangen. Also wahrscheinlich eine gute Entscheidung in dem Fall von der Todeskralle. Yeah, so basically explaining that the delivery from Flintoff would have probably missed the wicket down leg, and that it was in that case probably a good decision by Billy Bowden not to give that one out LBW, even though Flintoff appealed very, very convinced. Billy Bowden weiterhin 47 für 1, das Target 282. Ponting, da sehen wir nochmal eine Wiederholung. Okay, ja, da ist kein Schläger dran. Der Schläger ist hinter dem Pad, als es ihn am Frontfoot trifft, aber der Ball hat einen relativ harten Winkel. Die Line hätte definitiv den Ball am Wicket vorbeigebracht. Yeah, so watching the replay are saying that there is no bite on that by Ponting, but because the bat is behind the pad the moment it impacts his pad, but the replay makes it even clearer that that one probably would have missed the wicket down the leg side. So jetzt haben wir also ein armes Schwein, das an Short Leg spielen darf, und zwei Fielder tauschen einfach mal die Plätze, laufen von links nach rechts. Das macht jetzt taktisch nicht so den richtig großen Sinn, meiner Ansicht nach. England, this is what I'm telling the listener. England have put in a short leg. Some poor sort will have to field at short leg, and there's two fielders. Basically, as I say, they are basically changing or exchanging positions. They're running across the screen. I don't know. As I say, I don't think that is technically significant. It just eats time. So, Flintoff, right arm over the wicket, und das ist ein Ball, der ist zu weit außerhalb des Off-Stumps. Da ist Swing, es geht noch weiter weg von Ponting und es wird als No-Ball gegeben von Billy Bowden. Offensichtlich hat Flintoff hier übertreten. Alright, next delivery is wide outside the off-stump. There is movement away from the batsman, even further. And Bowden has given that as a no-ball, and since there is nothing else to indicate otherwise, I speculate that Flintoff must have overstepped in this case. That's basically what I'm saying there. Also, das wäre die letzte Delivery des Overs gewesen, aber so muss Flintoff das nochmal machen. And since we have had a no ball, I'm now telling the people that it was a no ball. It would have been the final delivery of the over, but since it was a no ball, Flintoff will have to do that again. Auf dem Weg zu seinem Mark. Billy Bowden gibt den Ball frei. Flintoff, right arm over the wicket und nick behind by Ponting. Geraint Jones nimmt den Catch. Freddie Flintoff mit ausgebreiteten Armen. Da wir ja wissen, was die Zukunft bringen wird, das schon erste, sagen wir mal, eine Vorahnung von 2009. Das Jahr, über das Jared Kimber ein Buch geschrieben hat, das da heißt When Freddie Became Jesus. So, nochmal die Wiederholung. Flintoff hier, da ist eine Edge und Geraint Jones hat keine Probleme, diesen Catch zu machen. Einfacher Catch, aber eine definitive Outside Edge, und Ricky Ponting muss für eine Ente gehen. 5 Deliveries, caught, Jones bowled Flintoff, und da ist er auf dem Weg in die Umkleide. Yeah, not gonna lie, that shouldn't have happened. Anyway, so the delivery, the extra delivery that Flintoff had to bowl because of the no ball earlier, taking his wicket, and it's basically just saying, okay, he gets an outside edge, Geraint Jones takes an easy catch. That's gone. Done. Thank you very much. And then there comes the bit about Flintoff standing there with arms spread, and what I'm saying there is that's kind of a premonition or foreshadowing of the 2009 series, the Lord's Test, specifically in that 2009 Ashes, when Flintoff does that celebration, arms wide and stuff like that, and his teammates piling onto him, and I mean it's the reason that Jared Jared's book is called When Freddie Became Jesus, and it's the reason I made a joke about the first Anderson Tendulkar Trophy final day at the Oval when Mohammad Siraj took the final wicket, drew the series for England, and he was standing there with arms wide spread and all his teammates mugging him basically, and I made a joke about that because I used that as the thumbnail, that image of Mohammad Siraj, arms wide spread, and all his teammates trying to hug him. I used that as the thumbnail for the summary, for my summary of the day's play, and I made a joke. I can't remember if I made it on YouTube or not. I definitely made it on bluesky. I termed that When Mohammed Became Freddie. So yeah, so that's the end of the over. After that, I'm telling that Ponting has to go for a duck, for an ente. Back to the Umkleide. Umkleide is the changing room or dressing room. Yeah. So hope you enjoyed that. Hope you have a bit of a better idea how German or what German cricket commentary sounds like. Yeah, and if you like this video, as I said, I'm also doing English stuff. So you're very, very welcome to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. Yeah, if you like this video, please consider clicking the like button down below. And also check out the description of this video, because first of all, I will link the original video with the original commentary from the ECB. I will link the interview that I gave Adit about me, who I am, how I came into cricket, and all that stuff. So if you want to know a bit more about who I am, go give that one a listen. What else? Yeah, so hope you enjoyed your time. And if you want, we'll see each other again, probably in the not too distant future. So, thank you everyone. Bye bye.